Today, we're doing a massive finance reset, a reboot, a cleanup. Yo, what's up friends? Welcome back to this video. If you're new here, what's up? My name's Nicole. Like I mentioned in my previous video, I recently just finished my last semester as a college student. So, graduating na po ako! So this video is part of a 5-part series where I reset each of my life buckets because honestly, these past few months really just wrecked my life. Na disorganized na siya. Because of all of the stress I felt from school, it was deadly. Ayoko na talaga tap out. So I thought it would be a great opportunity for me to make this into a series so that we can reset our lives together. For this video, it's all about the money. This is how I structured my finance reset process. First, start with why. I want to talk about why it's important to do a finance reset and why I'm personally doing it because I understand it can take a lot of time to do this entire process, but I promise it's worth it. And then I'm going to take you guys through my 5-step finance reset process that I do almost every month. Ayun, very simple lang. If you guys are ready, let's get started. Let's go reset! Okay, so why is this important? Why am I doing this? Even though I'm usually on top of all of my finances, like lahat yan naka-track, if you ask me what did I spend no October 29, 2020, I'll probably be able to give you an answer. In these past few months, sobrang na-stress ako sa school. All of my attention and time was just focused on finishing my requirements. I'm now financially blind. I have no idea what's up, ano yung mga ginastos ko the past few months, ano nangyari sa investment portfolio ko, wala. But for this video, I'm setting aside time to be intentional in regaining the view of my finances, mamulat ulit kung ano yung state of finances ko. As much as ignorance is bliss, medyo delikado kung hindi mo alam, like swipe ka lang ng swipe, di mo na malaya na malaki na pala yung ginagastos mo, and one day when you look at your bank account, nasaan na yung pera? Nawala na yung pera. So for me, it's very important to always know what's up, where is my money going. And because I'm in a transitional point where I'm a student and now going into adulting, working life na, I think it's all the more important because school doesn't really teach you a lot of these things. But for me, it's important to establish proper habits, to build a solid foundation for adulting. There's really no such thing as perfect. From time to time, life will really get in the way to fuck up your initial plan. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you're a failure na hindi ka nag-track in the past 2 to 3 months, 5 months, in a year. It's fine. As long as you are intentional about resetting your life and really moving forward, balikan mo na lang, make progress, fix things up, make progress again, and you're good to go. Okay, now let's start the finance reset process. Boop! Step 1, I need to track all of my untracked expenses. So for me, the last month that I was able to track all of my expenses was in March. But once we started April, May, June, when I started getting stressed, wala na. I recognize na some people might find it completely unnecessary. Tapos medyo hassle siya if you track every single peso, every single transaction. Which I understand, it can be time-consuming. But for me, personally, I find value in it to help me be more conscious of my spending habits. Kung saan ko ba talaga ginagastos yung pera ko, kung saan nanggagaling yung pera ko. Kasi it's one thing to just swipe something or like pay for something and that's it, bye-bye na yung pera. Good purchase, happy. But it's another, kung nag-swipe ka or binayaran mo something, tapos kailangan mo i-screenshot, ilalog mo sa expenses mo, you will see the proof of your kagastusan. Oh my God, I just spent 2,000 pesos on this. Like, there's like that mental loop that happens if you track your expenses kasi. To be able to start this process, I empty out my wallet of all of the receipts. Tapos pipicture ko yung mga resibo ng lahat ng ginastos ko na hindi ko pa na-track. So like I mentioned in my money management system video, the app that I use to track my expenses is Wallet by Budget Bakers. On my phone, there's a widget that I can just tap. Ilalagay ko na doon magkano yung expense or yung income, what category does it fall under, the time, and I can also put labels, description, all that, which I find really nice. Okay, so to start this process, I already do some things ahead of time para lang mas madali sa akin ito. Even though I wasn't able to track all of my expenses, some of my expenses were still logged in my expense tracker. I set up parang planned payments na in my app kasi. And for most of my transactions, I do my best to stay away from using cash. Like lahat, either credit card, debit card, I use my digital e-wallets para lahat may record yung transaction. So it's easier for me to go back to ano ba yung mga ginastos ko on this day. But if you pay for things with cash and you don't have receipts, wala na. Like sometimes you forget what you paid for. We don't want magic. You want to know where every single peso goes. Keep it in check. Alam ko yung mga pinagagastusan ko. Okay, so that's the first part. I track where all of my pesos has went these past few months. Next naman is to take note of all of my payables, my liabilities, mga utang or anything like that. So yung pinakauna is my upcoming tax payments. More or less, I'm a freelancer na, so I have tax things that are due. I earn money, I pay taxes on the money that I earn. fun, adulting. I think the next deadline is on August. Then, next, yung mga utang sa friends, if meron. Pero usually, yung friends ko yung may utang sa akin. So, it's time for me to make singil. Wow, make singil. Konyo. Make singil. Oh. To collect their debts. Yeah. And then third are the bill subscriptions like phone bill, credit card bill. I need to take note of those. It's actually already in my routine for me to pay for my credit cards at the second week of each month because my statements are generated mga third or fourth week of the month. And to track all of these payables, yung expense tracker ko, there's like an option there for planned payments so that I can input there all of my upcoming payments para ma-project ko yung budget if I have enough cash flow to pay for those things. Or sometimes I even create special labels for certain types of transactions, no? The structure of my transactions is a bit complicated because I not only track my own transactions, sometimes kasi my parents or my family members, my siblings, make me pay for things or nangutang sila or I pay for things with my card, but it's their transaction. So I need to keep track of all of those. So I have a system for me to be able to do that. Sometimes I don't share these details in my videos na because I don't think it's relevant to other people. Like it's my own type of transactions. So because nagawa ko na yung first step where I track all of my untracked expenses, tapos yung second step na bayaran ko na lahat ng bills na kailangan ko bayaran, yung third step, it will be a lot easier because makikita ko na yung updated balance of each of my accounts. This is helpful because it gives me a bird's eye view of where every single peso that I own is at and ensure that they're where they're supposed to be. So another helpful thing that my expense tracking app provides is analytics. So I can see a summary or a breakdown of my expenses, my income. Makikita mo yung different categories, no? These breakdowns are important for me because there are specific statistics that I'm keeping track of month on month. I already shared that I have a specific target savings rate and investment rate that I aim to reach every month. And I'm also keeping track of my total income and total expenses for the rest of the year. So number 4 is to review and update my finance plans and goals. So now that na-refresh na yung cash system ko, it's time to pay attention to the investments, most especially the investments. Checking my portfolio. Oh my god. Everything's legit down. Like when I look at my investments, it's red. Red. Holy crap, it's red. Even my investments in G-Invest, no. I put in a total of mga 8,500, but right now the value of it is 7,400. Kita ba? So I'm mostly an aggressive investor because I'm young, so I'm willing to take on a lot of risk now for the potential upside. I knew that the markets weren't doing well, but now that I've updated my numbers, tito. Woo! Buti na lang, long-term investor ako. If you guys started investing last year, probably na-shock na kayo with what happens to the markets in this year. Pero ganun talaga investments, no? Like, sometimes the market is up, sometimes the market is down. There's a lot of factors that can affect the performance of your investments in the short term. Like, talaga, I'm a very aggressive investor, so most of my investments are in stocks, crypto. So, I'm severely affected with what's happening in the market right now. And I don't need it naman right now. I can afford to wait this out. It's rocky road time. Whatever I invested, I promised myself I'm not going to be touching for at least 10 years, no? So, we'll see. I'll just watch with popcorn. Kaya this is why it's important, no? Before you guys start investing, you should always have emergency funds, no? Extra cash set aside so that when the market goes down, you won't be forced to sell in the red. One of the good things I have going for me is that I'm still pretty young. I'm 22. And probably a lot of you guys who watch my videos are also around my age or maybe a bit younger, a bit older. One of the advantages that we have is time. Because I'm still pretty young, my time horizon to invest is still pretty long, which is a big advantage in this type of market environment talaga. You have more time for your investments to grow, you have more time to invest in the market. Sure, there's a lot of things that can affect the economy in the short term, but over the long term, if you really invest in the strong growth potential of a certain stock, of a certain company, of a certain economy, then it's a pretty good bet to stay invested in the long term. When it comes to investing, there are more or less 3 types of goals that every investor has. It's either for capital preservation, capital appreciation, or for cash flow, no? To generate cash flow. In the past 4 years kasi, I've been very attracted to capital appreciation, and that's just like your investment going up in value, no? But I realized I'm more or less more attracted to cash flow investments now, like investments that are able to generate cash flow. Now my assets that I'm investing in are able to generate a stable amount of constant cash flow for me. So I feel like I'm going to adjust my investment portfolio to that direction now. Because nag-iba yung market environment and I want to reflect on whether I want to be doing my current strategy or I need to change it up. Right now kasi, I'm 22 and I consider this as part of my prime working years. So whatever I do in the next few years will really set the tone for how I'm gonna live out my 30s, my 40s, my 50s, the years beyond. So I want to do things right. I remember noong 2018 when I was about to graduate from high school, I got interested in investing. But when I was inquiring sa mga stock brokerages kung magkano ba talaga ang kailangan to open a stock brokerage account, you needed like 10,000 pesos, 15,000 pesos, yung mga iba pa nga is 50,000 pesos just to open a stock brokerage account. So, as a high school student, parang, what? But at least now with G-Invest, no, you can already start investing with your GCash account for as low as 50 pesos. So, the difference that makes, no, the barrier is really lowered for a lot of Filipinos to start investing, just like Asyong Asenso.
Si Asyong Asenso, vintage man ang damit, G na G pa rin. Nax, may butal sa bulsa.
G-Invest na to?
Yan. Kasi isang ID lang, makakapag-invest ka na sa trusted local at global companies for as low as 50 pesos. Kaya ang investment mo, pwedeng maging negosyo over time. G, invest na!
Yun nga, with only 50 pesos, you can already start your investing journey. You only need to be at least 18 years old and have a verified GCash account. I actually made more in-depth videos about G-Invest na that you can watch here. In personal finance, it doesn't matter if you're starting with something big or with something small because what matters is that you do it consistently over the long run. I remember in high school, I had this coin jar na dun ko nilalagay lahat ng barya na nakikita ko. Hinihingi ko yung mga barya sa mga ibang tao and nilalagay ko lang sa jar na yun. And over time, binubuo ko siya para I can make them into bills. Small progress is better than no progress. And over time, pag lumalaki na yung kita mo, lumalaki na yung income mo, then you start investing a lot more. This is not financial advice, but when markets are down, these are good entry point notes to start investing kasi mababa yung presyo eh. You just need to pick which one yung papasukan mo. So as of now, there are 7 different types of investment funds in G-Invest and a mixture of assets yung ininvesta nila. Yung mga iba naka-invest sa mga stocks, yung mga iba naka-invest sa money market funds, sa mga bonds. So picking which type of investment funds you're going to invest in will definitely depend on what you're looking for, ano yung mga financial goals mo, how much risk you're willing to take. But for me, when I think about how I'm going to be investing in this type of market, it doesn't make sense to go one time, big time, no? Kasi we don't know when the market is going to recover, when we don't know when it's going to bounce back. But what I'm going to start to do is to cost average. And if you guys aren't familiar with cost averaging, this just means you buy a set amount of a certain investment regularly. Kunwari with G-Invest, you buy 50 pesos worth of funds every month, every week. Para lang yung price na makukuha mo. If it goes lower, then you just average down. If it goes higher, at least nakabili ka na before. At least for now, cost averaging talaga is the way. And I'm also going to be taking advantage of the different high-interest savings accounts out there. So step 5, after you review and then update your financial plans and how everything is doing, now you need to set up the systems that will align with the revised plans and goals. One thing that has changed for me as compared to the past few years is that I'm going out more often and I forgot how expensive it is to go out. Because nasanay ako na nasa bahay lang palagi, tapos wala masyadong ginagastos except for the occasional online shopping. But now when you go out, you have to pay for gas, you have to pay for parking. When you go out, you eat with friends, you buy stuff. It's expensive. I won't put myself on a strict budget yet. I will just observe how I spend, where I put my money, how I'll be earning money. Then I will create a budget that will fit that. Because I am aware that my routine, my lifestyle is about to change. So I want to be flexible enough to accommodate those changes and not to be too hard on myself when it comes to finances as I'm trying to figure out ano na yung magiging routine ko, yung lifestyle ko after graduating from college. Medyo mahaba na yung video na to, but I hope you guys learned something new. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Are you ready, kids? Aye, Captain! No, my God. Okay, step 1. Tracking all untracked. Parang